Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold, and sorry for the little bit of a late delay here. My camera's been crapping out on me, and I don't know why. So I've been like messing with the cords. I think it's because one of the cords I have in there is like this. It's battery that's just always plugged in instead of like having to charge a battery and use it that way. And for some reason, it has to be like pulled tightly one direction. It's like your iPhone cable when it goes out. Like you can kind of jimmy it around, and then if you position it the right way, it'll charge. Otherwise, it won't. And to like wrap the cord around my camera to get it to work. So anyway, but I'm here. So thank you all for joining me. Hope you're having a great Monday. Mondays suck though. Just trying to get the rest of my stuff here sorted out before I start cracking away. Kind of a boring weekend. There are some things we can still talk about. Silver's doing some interesting things. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens. I know Y-Chromes is live over on Badlands as well, so I'll probably get done a little early and then send you over there. Elf Boy says, always an excuse. Rude. Ravis says, I'm digging my soft disclosure. Tamarack, all good Christmas presents. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Kid Rob, buy a new camera with your millions. Well, cameras aren't that expensive. I mean, the one I have is probably like, I mean, I guess kind of is like $500. But I don't have millions like everybody thinks. But yeah, let's get a quick word from our sponsors of today's show. And first up, that is River. Share my screen here, show you what River's doing. Bitcoin. That was this morning. It was at 87. Oh, it's gone up a little bit. Buying opportunities against anything under 100, in my opinion. Non-financial advice is buying opportunity. If you're going to go to badlandsmedia.tv/river and get yourself some Bitcoin, you also got to get a cold storage wallet over at badlandsmedia.tv/trezor, TREZOR. And remember, you can throw cash into River and they will pay you an interest rate of 3.3% in Bitcoin. Putin's residence was bombed. Is that true? When did that happen? I don't know if I saw that. Gosh, my freaking Twitter right now is all Erica Kirk memes or Stranger Things Will coming out as gay memes. Let me look at some of these. I'll show you.
I don't like girls. I mean, I do, just...
What the fuck? So this is the fucking show everyone's watching. Why is he crying? Apparently in this part of the story, the world's ending, and this guy thought it was appropriate to come out as fucking gay. Guys, I'm gay. It's like, mate, you could have told us earlier. Modern day TV shows are so fucking weird. This is why I live in a Sopranos household, not a Stranger Things household.
It's so funny. There's... So Will is gay. So if I'm watching these, you guys are watching with me. What? Oh my God. So dumb. And then, yeah, here's another Erica Kirk. Yeah, that's probably the highlight of my weekend is the Stranger Things memes and the Erica Kirk memes, because the news stories are not that all that exciting. But it is what it is. Silver, let me show you what they're doing here. Silver was up over like $82 at one point this weekend, I think. And it's come down fairly significantly. A lot of speculation as to why it is. I mean, significantly. I mean, it's still way up. Over $70. It's insane. Just like 2 weeks ago, it was 60s, if I'm not mistaken. Gold has come down a little bit too. The mainstream media, the excuse they're using, let me show you this. Analysts pointed to profit taking as the primary driver behind the sharp sell-off. An analyst at Active Trade said that this morning's gold price decline which follows record highs, is attributable mainly to traders taking profits ahead of the year end, as quoted by Reuters. Shift in geopolitical sentiment also weighed in on prices. Tentative optimism from the U.S. administration regarding progress in the Ukraine peace talks also represents a mild headwind. Okay, that's baloney. Because Trump said we're getting a lot closer to a deal. You know how many times he said that? Didn't he say we had a deal recently? So stupid. The thing I'm looking at is, wait, Cece, that's the last time I ordered the party platter of sushi. What's that about? Ash says she's partial to the Somali memes. Oh, I see what you're saying. I said highlight of my weekend, and Cece got offended because the sushi wasn't the highlight of the weekend. I get what you're saying now. Highlight of my weekend outside of being with you, obviously. That's what I meant. You just said let me finish my sentence. But Ash, yeah, the Somali memes are great too. Some really good ones. I think I saw one this morning. Oh, where did I put this? Let me see if I can get it pulled up on my screen. Because I don't remember where I saw it on Twitter, but I saw it in the wild, and it's so funny. And we could talk about the fraud for a little bit too, the Somali fraud, because obviously everybody's freaking out about that. For the first time ever, I watched like 5 minutes of Wendy Bell this morning just because she was on the homepage of Rumble and I had it open. And she was like yelling, like screaming. I mean, maybe screaming's aggressive, yelling, making loud mouth noises at the camera over the Somali fraud thing and like begging Donald Trump to fix it. And I was like embarrassed for her. So what are you doing? Why are you yelling? Why can't I find this darn picture? Here we go. Oh, this meme is so good. Okay, check this out. This week on House Hunters, Minnesota daycare owner, unemployed, budget $3.2 million. Yeah, that's what everybody's talking about. Even my friends groups are laughing at this. So it's starting to hit the normie sphere, even though it's a little different. Like one of my buddies was texting me about this a month or two ago when the rumors first started coming out about the fraud there. And that was the Medicare stuff, not even the daycare stuff. But there's a lot of weird ops going on with this. We got to make sure, in my opinion, wherever this goes, like this can't be the end. It's not just Minnesota. It's not just Medicare fraud. It's not just foreigners, taking advantage of the government system. It's all over. It's not just Democrats. This is a uniparty, like everywhere issue. The system we have is designed, to rip the taxpayers off. And I love this stuff getting exposed. I love it. Let's keep talking about it. Let's find more fraud. Citizen journalism is great. More people should be going out and doing this. It's one of the ops that we're seeing, though, is everybody like foisting this Nick Shirley guy upon us as if he's the next chosen one. I think I saw Chris post like, oh, he's the next Charlie Kirk. They're kind of making it seem like that. I mean, he did great job, great work for sure. But when everybody's in agreement about one person being the next thing to replace the mainstream media, and it's like all the worst people, makes me not want to trust that person. Not that I trust anybody, really. Not counting you, CC, of course. Ash wants sushi now. We might have some left over in the fridge if you want to come over. John the Doomer has arrived this Monday. I'm a little sleepy. I didn't sleep great last night. So maybe that's what you're feeling oozing off of me. The left is freaking out over Nick Shirley videos. Yeah, watching that stuff is funny. It's not just daycares. This is from Ash. It's not just daycares or Medicare. It's every entitlement. I'm looking at mental health centers in Colorado right now, doing a local investigation with a couple folks. Yeah, that's awesome. You can find this stuff everywhere, anywhere. Every state, many programs, anything that is related to a 501c3 as well, rife with fraud. All this stuff. And the logical conclusion to it all, to all of this, any of the fraud that you're seeing, whether it's financially or with the elections or whatever, is why are we paying taxes? Like, why are we participating in the system? You got to opt out. We need enough people to opt out. This is so stupid. Any business that you would run or go to or whatever, be a part of. Let's say you're the CEO of a business. Every year, you run a deficit. You have a major, major debt obligation that you really have no realistic way of paying off. You are constantly overspending. And mostly on BS. Like you're giving money away to other businesses. That's part of your business model, is helping other businesses. And then on top of that, like you are just everything you do, every department in your business is rife with fraud. What happens to a business like that? It goes defunct. It goes out of business. It doesn't exist anymore. Some people go to jail probably. Like a business can't operate that way. A country can't operate that way either. Yet here we are. Like if you were a stockholder of a company like that and that news came out, like that there was fraud, would you hold on for dear life to that company? You'd probably put your money somewhere else. Some sort of safe haven. They would lose all their investors. But the caveat for them is they can force you to invest via gunpoint, essentially. I'm glad I stopped paying income taxes a year ago. This is from Elf Boy. When I got my letters that I own them, go right into the trash. Somebody's late. Shame on you, AOB 22. CSUSG BGeochem says 55 miles per hour sustained winds in his area, and it's a trash day. It all ends up in my front yard. That sucks. 1.5 million NGOs. Is that how many we have in this country? That can't be true. How many? I mean, I guess it wouldn't surprise me. How many NGOs in the United States? It's so stupid. Approximately 1.5. It's so stupid. They're tax exempt, and yet our tax dollars go to them, and then they just like commit fraud with it. Insanity. Anyway, let's keep plugging away. No update on the Doge website. No surprise there. I decided to start adding this number to the mix because I didn't know this, but apparently the Treasury actually updates our total public debt that's outstanding every day. So we can track ourselves what the Treasury is saying our debt is. And right now, this is as of the latest number I guess we got from Christmas Eve. I guess I can refresh it, see if there's anything newer. Oh, that's the newest one. Christmas Eve. 38 trillion, 352. Oh, what just happened? My screen just like went black out for a second. I wonder if the Fed's watching my computer now. Sorry, 38 trillion, 352 billion, 846 million, $701,813.17. 17 at the end must mean it's calm. John, Colorado employment is 10% NGO statewide. Oh, okay, hold on. 10% NGO. How much of Colorado is government jobs? How much of Colorado? You probably got like 25% between government and NGOs. Approximately 12 to 14% of Colorado's workforce is employed by federal, state, or local government, based on a recent Bureau of Labor Statistics data for non-farm payroll jobs. So that's 22 to 24% of Colorado's like workforce is either in NGOs or the government. Go home, Colorado. You are stoned out of your mind. Sorry, I'm slow today with my back and forth. I'm reading the chat and forgetting to talk about them. No update on the presidential website. We do have some. Here's another financial news. The Trump administration has given $2 billion to the United Nations for humanitarian aid. Less than in the past, but most among every other nation. The pledge comes with a demand for an umbrella fund for which the money will be distributed to individual agencies and priorities. $2 billion to the United Nations. Didn't Trump and his national security strategy just recently say, like, I don't even know if you guys are going to exist anymore. 10 years from now, you guys are going to be a Muslim-dominated country. Like, which could change our entire relationship with you. You may not even be an ally. Maybe he's talking about the EU, United Nations, NATO. They're all the same to me. But if that's the case, if that's the mindset, why are we giving them money? You're going to throw money into an investment that you know or you don't know is going to be there 5 years, 10 years from now? That doesn't seem like a great investment. We should have a Leering Center at Gart's. You still can't bring your kids, but we can have Minnesota kick in on the event costs. That's a good idea. I actually really like that. Does Leering have its own meaning? Like, what is Leering? I feel like that should be something. Doesn't have a definition for it. So if anybody knows, I can leer with the best of them. John said, Ash said, Colorado is above all drink. Staring at tits? Leering? Oh, is that what that means? Leering means staring at tits? Interesting. So that's what we do if we add that to Gart's? Is that what you're suggesting, Ash? Because, I mean, you could probably sell me on that. I need a pretty good argument. I need slideshow presentation as to why we need Leering at Gart's, but I feel like you could get me sold on that. But I'll wait for your presentation. Trump did have his call with Putin. I called this on, I think it was Thursday show or Friday show, and I talked about it on Only Lands, and I talked about it on the Power Hour, where I was expecting a phone call with Putin to be posted about on True Social before he met with Zelensky, and it happened. And it's just further reinforcing the narrative, like, rerun cycle that we are in. It's never going to stop. It's just going to keep going. I mean, it probably will stop eventually. Don't know what it's going to take to stop, like what they're waiting for, but they just keep going through the motions of the same cycle over and over again. I think I even have a story on that. The takeaways. This is according to CNN. This is Kevin Liptak. This is what he said about the takeaways from the meeting. So the regime spin on it. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky traded freezing missile-tormented Kyiv. That sounds terrible. Can you just put yourself in his shoes for a second? Not only is it cold where Zelensky is from, but it's missile tormented. Like, of all the things to be tormented by, missiles is probably going to be like top 5 worst things to be tormented by. For sure. But anyway, he traded that all in, probably begrudgingly, I'd have to assume, for the frescoed dining room at Mar-a-Lago, where he hoped to gain President Donald Trump's sign-off on a revised 20-point peace plan to end the war in his country. Emerging after more than 3 hours of talks, neither man announced any major breakthrough in the grinding effort to end the conflict started by Russia in 2022. Both emphasized the process was complicated and would take more time, And Trump, who spoke by phone earlier in the day with Russian President Vladimir Putin, still offered a relatively sympathetic view of Moscow's positions. Yet, unlike some previous meetings, Trump praised Zelensky and remained confident that peace was near. I do think we're getting a lot closer, maybe very close, the U.S. president said, which this is like not even the most close we've been based on Trump's own descriptions. Trump has previously described it as much closer than whatever he just said there. So it's less close as past Trump has said. Just keep that in mind. U.S., Ukrainian, and European teams will continue meeting over the coming weeks, potentially in Washington. Trump said he also expected to speak with Putin, who would need to sign on to the terms of any potential peace deal. Here are the takeaways from the meeting. The war either ends or goes on indefinitely. Yeah, it's kind of feels like it is in that indefinitely part right now. Trump, after he shook Zelensky's hand on the Mar-a-Lago steps, insisted he had no deadline in mind for ending the Ukraine war, which previously, before he even got elected, if you can call it that, elected, whatever, election's fake and gay, before he became president, he was like, I'm going to have that deal done before I even get inaugurated. So we've gone from that to no deadline, no timetable, indefinitely. It's fun, isn't it? Yet he seemed to suggest now, with intensive talks underway, led by his envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner, that this was the ripest to finally end the nearly 4-year war. I think we're in the very final stages of talking, and we're going to see, Trump said, adding, it'll either end or it's going to go on for a long time, and millions of additional people are going to be killed. So we'll see. I don't think he's going to actually meet with Putin until like go time. It's either going to be that meeting is to like sign the deal, and that's like what does it. I mean, obviously total speculation here. Or he's not even going to meet with them until the peace deal is signed. But I don't think they're going to do that until they get Zelensky out of there. Like, remember, the pillars of democracy, which is Ukraine, we're told. The pillars of democracy haven't had an election in forever. But I guess neither have we, if you think about it. What is going on? Hold on. I want to catch up on the chat here. The term leering is a verb that means to look at someone in a suggestive, often sexually inappropriate or contemptuous way, typically with a sly or malicious grin. Well, I'm going to have to work on my facial expressions so I can start leering people down everywhere. Ash 1776. Things worse tormenting than missiles: sorrow, demons, Somalis, angry boomers, and bites on the feet. Top 5, fact check, false. Okay. But I mean, it's a subjective thing. Like, I don't get bites on the feet very often, so that's not on my top list. I also don't run into many Somalians here in North Dakota. So I'm not really tormented by them, even though their use of my tax dollars, that torments me. So I don't know. I still think being tormented by missiles. But again, I haven't been tormented by missiles before. I think generally missile tormenting would be a top 5 thing for most people. Like if you gave me a list of things that were like, hey, we're going to torment you with one thing, but you get to pick from this list of things that you don't want. I feel like missiles would be one of the things you like, I don't want that one. Stop micro-aggressing me, Ash. Oh, we got this badlandsmedia.tv. Under the news section, we have Bondi orders probe into Obama-Biden lawfare as ongoing election interference conspiracy. And I feel like this is another rerun because I feel like we already did. Didn't we already get this story? Wasn't this already a thing? I thought we were looking after those people. Not looking after us and like caring for them. I thought we were looking into those people already. Attorney General Pam Bondi has said that she has directed prosecutors to investigate the Obama-Biden era campaign of lawfare as an ongoing conspiracy that interfered with elections, shielded Democrats from criminal scrutiny, and violated the civil rights of Republicans, including President Trump and his supporters. In written responses to Just the News, Bondi said the investigation mirrors FBI Director Kash Patel's earlier call to examine the weaponization of intelligence and law enforcement dating back to the Russia collusion probe. Framing the conduct as an ongoing conspiracy allows prosecutors to pursue actions that would otherwise fall outside the statute of limitations. Rerun. Said her department and the FBI have released an unprecedented number of documents to Congress about government's weaponization, far more than prior administrations, arguing the evidence establishes the basis for conspiracy charges. While she did not name jurisdictions, officials told Just the News that a major focus is Florida. Again, this is a recap and a rerun. We know all this. She said the evidence shows the FBI protected political figures such as Hunter Biden and Hillary Clinton while targeting conservatives for their beliefs, relying on excessive legal process instead of addressing public safety threats. Maybe they just keep doing these reruns and these stories as their own little version of a stalling tactic. Like, hey, just a reminder, here's the story that we're eventually going to maybe have a update on. But until we do, we're going to remind you every week that this same story is continuing to be the same and not changed and keep going on. Pam said she'd give Jon a folder when ready to release. I would turn that folder down so fast. I'd say no. No Bondi. I don't want it. Joe Gilmore, Bondi doesn't even make rugs. She threatens to make them. Yeah, that's good. That is really good. I wonder. You know what? That's an interesting point. If there was another opportunity for these binder fags to come and get the binders again, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, we call it binder gate. But let me think. I'll just type in Epstein binder. I'm talking about these ones. Like all these social media grifters who went to the White House and got their binders and showed them off and all these things, and they were nothing burgers. And they'd signed an embargo to even take these things, so they couldn't actually post about what was in there until a couple hours after they got the binders. And so that's why you saw the people like taking terrible pictures and videos from potatoes, like, here's what I got, guys, and you couldn't see a thing because they weren't allowed to show it. But I wonder if these people were given the opportunity again, if there was like a, hey guys, we're going to do the Epstein rollout again. We need influencers to come up. You just have to sign up to go. I wonder how many of these same douchebags would go and do it again. And my wager would be every single one of them. Kinship Quest, who was influenced by these assets? I don't know. At the time, a lot of people were very defensive of them. Most of the truther community was very defensive of them. Well, they just have the biggest followings, and so it's for the normies, and so we just gotta trust the process and the plan. And now it's like, oh yeah, that was definitely an op. But when we were calling it out back then and like calling it out for being super gay, those people were so defensive over it. People are so defensive over their as Chris calls them, their TV characters. I saw people defending the Stranger Things Will coming out party thing this weekend too. Like, you're going to try to tell me that the gay propaganda in this was needed and is a good thing? It's part of the plan, part of the awakening. Give me a break. But yeah, I don't know who these people are influencing. Hopefully nobody. Because if these people are actually effective at influencing people, we are going to be stuck with fake elections forever. We're going to be stuck with Scott Presler registering voters. Like, just wait till Scott Presler shows up at your door and tries to influence you personally. We protect you, John. You're our TV character. There you go. The only TV character you are allowed to protect is me. I'm the only one that gets to influence you guys. And I use that influence to give you softer skin, better beard oils or beards with my beard oils. I give you better beards with my oils. And that's with Soft Disclosure.
Soft Disclosure just dropped new favorites for the season. The lotion, your 5-ounce favorite, is still here. And now we've added full 11-ounce bottles. New Lavender Tea Tree Deodorant, clean, calm, and effective. New Tallow Bars, Chamomile Lemon Rose, and Naked. Rich moisture that actually works. And now the lineup is complete. Beard oil in unscented and spiced vanilla. Palo lip balms, available in chamomile mint, vanilla, naked, and vanilla tangerine. Palo Bar Minis for pocket-ready hydration. Available in vanilla coffee and naked. And finally, lavender vanilla lotion. Clean, calm, and made to work. Visit softdisclosure.com. Use code Badlands and get 15% off. Soft Disclosure, for truth you can gift.
CSUSB Geochem says, I wonder if the beard oil works great down south as well. Yeah, the southern states have been major purchasers of the products, so definitely works in all regions. And yes, I obviously knew you were joking, so that was a great comment. I think Wheeler is her last name. I only know who she is because of her performance in Binders Phase 1, so I was surprised she was so uninterested in the other phases. She got completely destroyed though, Ash. That's why. She was so mocked for her video of like, you should be thankful that they gave this to us. Bow before your overlords and accept these binders. So dumb. She should be like, yeah, I would opt out too. If I was controlling her, I would tell her to opt out of pretty much everything. She's retarded. Yes, polymathenon. TJ Kibble says the soft disclosure does work in Texas. See, confirmation. Works in the South. But yeah, anyway, where was I? Why did I get on that rant? I don't remember. But that's okay. We'll move on to the FBI Hoover building set to close, which again, I thought this was like, I literally sometimes have to check if I'm looking at a current headline and it's not from like 2 months ago, because I already thought this was a thing. The FBI Hoover building is set to close. Workforce is moving to modern facility. He announced on December 26th that the agency will permanently close its Hoover headquarters, relocating staff to a safer, modern facility. The move, coordinated with President Trump and Congress, comes after more than 20 years of stalled efforts to replace the aging building. And it's kind of like when you think about how much we like waste the Frey Wa and Abiu that we have in this country. $5 billion for a new headquarters doesn't even seem like that much. My government has ruined how I conceive money. Because it's like, oh, $5 billion. What's $5 billion when you have $40 trillion in debt? That's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. Let's just go for it. But also, fuck the FBI, and we can replace them with nothing, and that'd be cool. Okay, Rob, yeah, definitely a lot of old news resurfacing again all at once. It's like, we're just going to pretend the last couple months didn't happen, and we're going to start right back at square one. Where's the FBI moving to? Just a modern building, whatever that means. Modern building. This is dumb, California. So if any of you guys live in California and are like a billionaire, one, you could probably increase your donations to Badlands. That'd be cool. But two, you should probably get out of California. And that is the order of operations for those two things. If you are a billionaire from California watching the show right now. California presses wealth tax. Despite national unpopularity, billionaires threats to flee. California is at the center of a contentious national debate over wealth taxation as state leaders and advocates of economic redistribution push for the creation of a substantial tax on the unrealized gains of the state's wealthiest residents, despite public polling showing most voters oppose such taxes. A ballot initiative currently being prepared for November 26, known as Initiative 250024, or the 2026 Billionaire Tax Act, would impose a one-time 5% levy on the net worth of individuals and trusts with at least $1 billion in assets as of January 1st, 2026. They're just like, hey, we need your money. We're just going to take it. We're just going to create a law that allows us to steal from you. I mean, taxation is already theft. Disproportionate taxation is retarded. If we're going to do a tax at all, which I don't even think we should, not federally, but if we're going to do tax, it should be the same percentage for everybody. For everybody. If it's going to be a thing. None of this like scaled bullshit and none of this stuff where they can just make up a law and take a percentage of your money just because. Just because you have a lot of it, we're going to take it all. The federal government's been threatening to withhold a bunch of money, and if we go without that money, we can't run our fraudulent program, so we're just going to take it from you guys. But I mean, it's great that they're trying this because it's going to get those people to leave. California is going to become a shithole, and then maybe it'll become a shithole enough to the point where we fix our elections, all those things, and we can buy property on the coastline out there. Or compound on the coast. Oh, that has a great ring to it. That's what we need. So California, just keep doing what you're doing. Make it worse. Flat tax rate, eliminate the Federal Reserve. Yeah, but by the way, I don't want taxes at all. If we're gonna do it, I understand like having some local tax for like the local roads you drive on, for local things that you need, whatever, within reason. But federally, it's so stupid. And that's why I want to see somebody like get in trouble for tax stuff and go to court and argue like, I'll pay my taxes once they show that they can operate on a surplus and not like be fraudulent with everything. Like, how much fraud do we have? You'd think there'd be a judge somewhere that would take a case and logically look at it and be like, yeah, well, I mean, the government hasn't shown that they are fiscally responsible. I guess I can't force you to do, you know what I mean? Like, at some point we got to get there. Sales tax only, but reasonable amount. Yeah. I love that idea too. If you want to save your money, people shouldn't be able to take it. If you want to spend your money, that's when it changes hands. I could get that. I could get on board with that. But again, no taxes would obviously be ideal and much smaller government. I could go on and on, but we have so many more headlines to get through, guys. Congress, in what has become an all too familiar situation, will return to resolve a missed deadline. Oh no. Our Congress missed a deadline. I give them each one demerit. Congress returns next week to Capitol Hill in the now familiar position of having left for recess without meeting a deadline that is hitting millions of Americans in their wallets and pocketbooks. The scheduled return date for the Senate is January 5th, for the House January 6th. It's a nice little vacation they got there. 6 days after the expiration of the Biden administration enhanced subsidies for health insurance policies through the Affordable Care Act marketplace that is estimated to impact 22 million enrollees. Are we going to have a shutdown again? I mean, I'm here for it. I hope we do. But I wonder if we're actually going to get that again. I already did those two stories. Already did that story. We got a rant here. Happy New Year from Scary K47. Thank you for the support, by the way. Happy New Year, John. Ben Carson said during a debate that his tax plan was 10% for everyone, modeled by what Jesus said to give in the Bible. Everyone laughed at him, but I thought it was brilliant. Again, like I'm anti-taxation. I think it's theft. But if we're going to do something, like there are much better ideas than the one we have going on right now. The courts are for-profit corporations. Yes, they are. The whole thing is a racket. The whole thing. Expensive. It's stupid. It's one of the things I struggled with when I first got sued is like, so somebody's going to lie and make up a case or whatever, bring a case based on a lie. And I'm going to have to spend all this money to like fight something that I know is, and it's in a jurisdiction that has no control over me and like all these different things. Like some people were like, just why bother? Just be like, screw it. I can't take it away from you. And part of me's like, yeah, but also part of me's like, you know what? F it. Okay, I lied. I might be running low on stories. Let me see if there's anything else on True Social. No, nothing really from Trump. Nothing there. Silver price stuff. Again, I don't know what to think about that. A lot of disinfo flying around about the silver. This is what Politico has been saying. Trump is unpopular in Europe, even among right-wing populist supporters. Political poll shows. Who fucking cares about Trump's popularity in Europe? We don't trust the polls in America. Why would we trust or care about the polls in another country? Talking about the 2028 race. Super dumb. Democrats redistricting. Super dumb. The Trump admin doles out billions of dollars for rural health. Montana and California will receive near equal amounts in 2026 despite their massive size disparity. The Trump administration on Monday doled out billions to states from a fund Congress created to transform rural healthcare. Purpose of this $50 billion? That's It's just so much money. So much money. It's crazy. More governments are denouncing Israel's recognition of Somaliland. We talked about that a little bit on Saturday. It's an interesting little situation there. Has a lot of similarities to like China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, us and Canada. Like one country trying to claim the country that is really rightfully theirs, or at least they say Somaliland. And then when people recognize it, it's just like, holy cow, you guys are recognizing Somaliland as a real country? That's kind of lame. That's kind of Will from Stranger Things, a little gay. Artie Joan, I'm with John. So much money being allocated that shouldn't be. It's everywhere. It's just like leaves me gross feeling, honestly. Every time I read these stories of how much money gets used and what it gets used on. And like I was reading the DOD the Inspector General's report. I almost said Investor General, which I'm sure we have a position like that in the United States. And if we don't, I'm sure we'll create one. It sounds like something we'd spend money on. But the Inspector General report on the DOD and their financial audit that they're supposed to do, which they've never actually completed an audit, like ever. But anyway, I was reading through this. It's like, yeah, well, 32% of the department or the departments within the Department of War or whatever, they did, respond to us with their numbers. So that's cool. It's a start. One of our recommendations would be trying to get like every department to respond. But then of the people who did respond, and these numbers aren't exact, I don't think. It's like, it was somewhere 40s, 30s, 50s. It was in the mid-range. It was less than half of the actual departments responded. But anyway, of the ones that did respond, there was just like billions of like discrepancies. Like, yeah, there's a $1.8 billion discrepancy and we don't know how. So, we'd like recommend probably to actually do accounting stuff with this to figure out what the discrepancies are. Like $1.8 billion in money is just like off on the books. And your recommendation is just like, yeah, probably shouldn't have that. But nobody gets in trouble. Like, yeah, we recommend that the Department of War has an accountant that keeps track of the money so that the money isn't discrepancied. Like that's where we're at with this shit right now. They don't care. And we can't hold them accountable because we can't actually vote on these people. Man, I do feel cranky now. Now that I'm hearing myself, listening to myself, thinking about what I'm saying, I do feel a little cranky. Yeah, that's just it, Ash. We can't find the $1.8 billion, so we need you guys to give us $1.8 billion more to fund those programs. Pretty much. John, tell me more about your thoughts on Scott Pressler. He is Will from Stranger Things, always. Except it wasn't even like subtle, like, yeah, we get it, we don't care. It's like an entire series dedicated to Will from Stranger Things coming out. That's Scott Pressler. But he's also, instead of like defeating Vecna or whatever, he's just trying to register you to vote. Which, would I rather get like murdered by Vecna in like a horribly gruesome way or be confronted by Scott Pressler to register to vote? And honestly, I'd probably go the Vecna route. That's probably what I'd do. Because either Vecna's going to rip my eyes out or I'm going to like rip my own out talking to Scott Pressler. So the result is kind of the same. John is so cranky, he's leering at the screen. Yeah. Anyway, where am I at? No, don't need that. No. I think I'm out, guys. I think I'm out of stories. We got through all the news today. Thank God. I was worried. At least he's getting people to vote. Yeah, I mean that's great if we had voting stuff that worked, like that we could trust. Otherwise, getting people to vote and participate in a system that we know to be fraudulent is just like protecting that system. So I'm not as proud of it. But what else can we talk about before I send you back over to Y-Chromes? Did you guys see any cool stories this weekend? Anything excite you? Voting is fake is gay. Shooting blanks. What like blank ballots? Is that what you're talking about? Elections are fake. Yeah, you guys all sound like conspiracy theorists right now. This is crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. A future Stranger Things season will have an alternate space-time continuum story to correct the flaw in the season's character development. It wasn't very good. I mean, I'm gonna watch the last episode. I'll make fun of it. I'm just not nearly as like going into this season of Stranger Things. Again, it's something I started before I woke up. I guess I'd probably still watch it anyway. It's just I like the vibe of it, the feeling of it. Like the first season's good, second one's pretty good. You can tell it's getting a little more out there and worse, but I was still excited to watch the last season, and I don't even care anymore. I literally don't even care because of the gay propaganda. Vera Berra says, I got invited to a conspiracy theory party in January. That sounds, how does that work? Did you see on Badlands Daily today that the phone number from one of these daycares was actually to the governor's office? I did not see that. That would be crazy. If that was true, it wouldn't surprise me. I still care about Steve. Steve is like, yeah, he's the only like normal character left. Black Hat Destroyer. How about a joke about Zelensky? I was down to make fun of Zelensky. Let's see what we got here.
Well, he kept asking for a little money for cocaine, and I kept saying no. Drugs are bad for people, especially for small little midgets like him. This little guy does a little coke, and all of a sudden he thinks he's winning the war. So anyway, I told him he's not getting any more money for cocaine. He's not happy about it, but he's a midget. They're all unhappy, I guess. You know, because they're so small and helpless.
I love AI. Me and AI, it's like love-hate, you know? Like, I know you're going to kill me someday, probably. Or at least lead to a future scenario where I end up being destroyed. But I'm okay with it almost because of the videos and the memes that you give me in the meantime. It's one of those trade-offs. It's like we're going to kill you, but you'll be entertained on the way. It's so good. So good. What else we got in the chat? They've ruined so many good shows with their DEI BS or canceled the good show because they were intelligence and made you think. Yeah, we were talking about this the other night too. Me and my girlfriend, we were watching like these older films. And by older, I mean like the 90s, maybe 2000s. Some Denzel Washington films. What was the movie we just watched with the copycat? The Bone Collector. It's a good one. Deja Vu. Like just some of the movies are so much better. The ideas of the movies were so much better. There's actual creativity. And they start going woke, and there's not like a single creative mind left, it seems. It's all reruns. Like, I'd rather see a new concept of a film than watch a 7th Indiana Jones movie. You know what I mean? Like, we get it. We get the plot of Indiana Jones. Let's move on from that's the type of stuff. As long as the show isn't preaching gayness, I'm okay. You will not get people defending gayness here. I have nothing against gay people. Again, gays are great. You guys are awesome. Hope you're happy and with your life choices, whatever. But just when you start to push that on me and try to get me to present like, when you start acting like a faggot, that's a different thing. And that's where I'm like, no more. That's what Stranger Things did. And Indiana Jones and the Epstein Files. Oh my gosh, that's a great movie. We need an AI movie there. Yeah, Scott Besson is the best. You know what? I bet Scott Besson, if he was in a room with Stranger Things, he'd punch Will for sure. The Bone Collector starring Stormy Daniels. CanCon did it himself. He called out live. Well, that's crazy. If that's crazy. The governor's probably in big trouble then for that. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to be like, okay, we got Tim Waltz in jail now, and we fixed the Somalian daycare fraud, and we fixed the Medicare fraud. We don't have to look any further. We're good now. Now vote for me. And we all just move on. It's okay. We got AI videos to keep us company. I did see that. E.H. Kyle. John Q. That was a good movie too. Yep. Gonna watch that next. They killed the Matrix with the new one. Come on, that's where the red pill came from. Ooh, gay fraud next. How'd they do that? Are we giving money to gay stuff too? I mean, I obviously would not be surprised. But is there like a government program where the gays specifically are defrauding us in some fashion? We already know the straights do it. I wonder if, I wonder, per capita, what sexual orientation is the least fraudulent? Whatever happened to the movie producer that was in Trump's treasury? Steve Mnuchin. You know what? That's a good question. Steve Mnuchin. What is he up to? He's probably an investment banker. Let's check it out. Steve Mnuchin. Born, let's see where he's at right now. Personal life, maybe. Does it show what he's done since leaving the White House? After he lost the 2020 election, he established an investment fund, Liberty Strategic Capital. The fund obtained funds from the Saudis, Emirati, and Qatari sovereign wealth funds. Well, looky there. According to the New York Times, the scale of Mnuchin's fund and its investments from countries where he traveled as Treasury Secretary have raised questions about whether he used government role to enrich himself. Yeah, obviously they all fucking do that. So legit questions raised. Very few don't do that. On March 6, 2024, Liberty led the group of investors, including Hudson Bay and Reverence Capital, to invest over $1 billion in the New York Community Bank. Became a board member. He announced he's putting together a group of investors to buy TikTok. I don't think he ever got it, though. Yeah, he did some good films, didn't he? King Arthur, I like that movie. Anyway. Richard Rohr, John, I'm stoned and knew that we are funding hiding the sausage and carpet cleaning in Muslim countries. Yeah, for sure. Watch Alphas make sandwiches today. We have 9 women. No one knows what. 9 women, Ash? Who's on? Who's on? What are you guys going to be talking about? How long of a show will that be? 9 women? Are you guys talking about like your cycles and stuff? Like period talk? It just doesn't interest me. Estrogen overload. Okay, well, I think I'm probably just going to end on that note. We'll end on menstruation and get you guys out of here. But I'll be back tonight on Basis Conspiracies. If you guys are interested, it should be a good one. Make sure you do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. It looks like the 4 of us plus Ship, Annie, Michelle, Tattoo, and Miss Rise. Wow. That's great. Yeah, if you guys are still going, Jessica says you guys will end up rating baseless. If you guys are still going by the time that it's still going on, you can rate us. That'll be a fun show. Maybe I will stop by. Do you have to be on your period to watch the show? Like, is that a requirement? If you'd let me text me, Ash, let me know. Thanks, everybody. Hit thumbs up, give us a follow here, and I will see you tonight on Basis Conspiracies and back again tomorrow right here on the Daily Herald. You guys have a great rest of your Monday.
real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.